Hey guys, Pete Peppers here, and this is a Candy Crush Jelly Saga level 199 commentary walkthrough. This is a pretty tough level. Most people say it's the toughest level in the latest episode, so I wanted to add some tips. And I'm going to be pausing as I go here because the first time I got through it pretty wasn't that bad. I mean, I knew that we're at a serious disadvantage here against Liquorice Larry, so I was able to set up what I needed to be able to blow up the blockers, which is our biggest problem here. I mean, you can see we only have two slots for our monklings, and he has three, so he could actually stack them more than we can. And he doesn't have thick blockers on his, so we have to be pretty strategic. So I end up getting a big bomb in this one, but don't think that you have to do that. I mean, obviously it helps, but if you watch my first video, which I'll put a link for at the end in a card, you'll see that I did it without a big bomb the first time. So go ahead and start playing. And in the beginning, all throughout the entire level, we obviously want to clear these blockers up here. But in the beginning, the other thing you want to think about is clearing out all the coils at the bottom. So, some moves we won't be able to do anything like that one. That wasn't a really very effective move. But once we clear out these blockers, we have a way better chance. And another thing we want to do is we want to get our stun up because that will actually help us get through down here. And the reason why when the blockers are gone, it helps is, one, we have more chances to get more combos. But the other thing is that towards the end, we only start with 20 moves. So towards the end, we're going to actually get into this situation most of the time where we have to set up orange matches in the cascade so that we can collect a monkling on every single turn because we just won't have any turns left. And I'll talk about that when we get to that. So, collecting the orange isn't as important here because they're going to be blocked from falling anyways, so we can only have two stacked up. So if you can't, if you can't make a fish or a stripe that's going to hit one of these two blockers up here, think about some sort of situation where you can clear the coils as fast as possible. Here I'm going to make this striped, I guess. It's not really that helpful because it's not in the right row, but it does increase my stun. And then we can't really make any more combos anyway, so we don't get the super stun. But we did use the stun to clear this space out and set off that special, and now we have a little more room. And you need to keep track of how many moves you have left because there becomes a point when you're playing this where you just don't have any possible chance anymore. And again, I'll explain that more when we get to it. But right now, you can see things aren't going that great. I haven't had any real effective moves, but we still have 14 moves left, so that's okay. We're not in the danger zone as far as like whatever, when we can't finish it anyways. But making fish is always good. It increases the stun, and sometimes they can get set off automatically, which gives you hits without wasting a move to do that. So that's another thing to think about. And here's what, like I said, I got a big bomb. I was actually trying to set up that space, but obviously I didn't plan on getting a coloring candy plus color bomb. But I was gonna trash this video and play it again, and then it actually turned out that a lot of the other things that I wanted to stress in the walkthrough came up anyways. So I'm gonna hold it again. We cleared out our blockers, which is good. And we have 10 moves left. All right. So one of the things is that once you clear these two blockers in the beginning, you generally get three monklings because you'll have one sitting on each blocker, and then you also have the one that's filled up and waiting to fall. And once it falls now, it goes straight across the string. So we have 10 moves here, which is pretty good, but we're not in the like safe zone by any means because we have to finish before we get six, right? Because you can't fill the meter up more than full. So after you have to have the move end in order for the Monkling to fall. So once we get to 6, if we can't collect a Monkling on every single move, then we won't get it. We won't be able to finish. So that's why I decided to keep this video anyways, even though I had the big bomb, because there's a lot of interesting spots that talk about how we can do that. So here, this is a simple one. We want to make wrapped candies because they lead to cascading, right? So you can see that we had no orange collected at the beginning of that, but because the whole board kind of shifted down for us, we got it fully filled up. Like there isn't a match that we can make with orange that's gonna like fill it all the way up. Maybe a color bomb match, but the a four candy match doesn't quite fill it up. Like that was a 3, and you can see how far it filled it up. So we want to make a good match with orange to collect orange, but we also want to get things to fall. So here we'll make a striped, and that fills it up, and the Monkling falls. We have a stun, so that's good. But we have to be careful that we don't do this sort of thing too much, because the stun isn't going to help us if we get below the thing. We have 5, so we have to pick up on pretty much every move after this, right? Because we're going to get one here, and we're still going to have 4 moves left. But we only have we can only have one more move that doesn't collect a Monkling. And as you can see, there isn't much. Here is a good example, though. I'm going to hold that for a second. What we had was, by making the blue, we could see that we were going to set it off, and we were going to set off this big chain reaction of stuff falling, and that fills up our orange candy. So you might want to go back and look at that again, but we have our stun all the way up, but now we don't really have many orange candies that are close to each other on the board anywhere. So what do? This green one will make a big hole at the bottom and cause things to fall. And even though we didn't collect a lot, you can see we did get 4, which almost filled it up. And we used up our last chance to not get one. So we're going to have to really plan these last 2 moves here. I think here we could probably do just about anything in the middle, because we have all these fish and stuff, and we only need like to collect 1 match. We don't have to get that lucky. The striped with the fish I like the best, though, because it clears out the whole row that it hits. Plus, since we had our super stun, it actually set things in motion to get that in the middle. And so now we just have to plan our last move to make sure we get it. And I was actually really worried whenever I got to this, because I was like, oh man, tell me I'm not gonna make it with the super bomb that early and still not finish the level. So you have a lot of different choices here. You could make the vertical stripe that'll almost fill it up, because it's a 4 orange candy match, and then hope that we get another match above. We can make the fish here and hope that gets set off some way. We could just match this blue fish and this orange, the orange candy would fall, and hopefully some more would fall with it and set that off. But it's definitely a spot where you want to pause, because you're not going to get in it that often, you know what I mean? So I thought about it for quite a bit of time here, and then I decided that I would go for this, and then all I need is 1 extra collection in the process, and I ended up getting it when it fell. So the tips for this, I kind of went through them all, but I'll just summarize them here. Obviously if you can get a big combo in the beginning, that's fine, but don't waste a lot of moves trying to set it up, okay? You just don't have enough, and you're just not going to get it often enough, I don't think. Instead, think about clearing out the bottom half of the board and doing that after you check for stripes aimed at our blockers or just regular fish matches. You use your super stun move carefully whenever you have a chance to do that. And don't really worry too much about Larry. Like, he will finish sometimes, but we don't have enough moves to like sit around planning on blocking him. So, you know, just play, and if you know, I've seen him finish it a few times, but I wasn't going to finish that way either. And then another thing is, if you get to three Monklings in the beginning, and then you get below 6 moves, and you haven't had another one, you can just go ahead and quit to save yourself the frustration, and then just really try to plan things out so that you can set up cascades to catch oranges when you don't have the perfect setup. You know, make matches at the bottom if nothing else. Look for matches that are going to be two-way, where you're going to get like a big space cleared out, which is going to give more chance of more stuff happening when the candies fall on the board. So I hope you found this helpful. Please subscribe to my channel and like the video. All that kind of stuff really helps, and I appreciate it. I'll make new videos like this one as soon as something comes along, and I'll talk to you soon.